Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be telling you that how to remove the HTTP from the URL. So basically in every kind of situation, let's suppose you have a URL that you want to remove it. Let's suppose, let me just show you the scenario where we will be removing this. So we have a URL called as HTTPS www.google.com. So basically this is a URL here. So we will be removing this URL. You can see, let me just show you, https://google.com. So basically this https version, we will be removing it, the protocol that is appearing here from the URL. So basically the result will be simply google.com. So we will be converting to this in this tutorial. So this can be anything. Let's suppose this can be http also, like this can also change to google.com. So this can also have www protocol also. So the URL can also be like this, https www google.com. This also will change to google.com. And this version also, if you see here, the second version is http www.google.com. This also will change to google.com. So we will tackle all these four scenarios and we will try to remove these HTTP protocols and this www protocol from the URL. So basically this will give you this URL which you want here. So basically this will be a simple JavaScript project where we will be removing this HTTP protocol and this slash slash and also this www symbol also from the actual URL. So this will be an actual tool-based website that you can deploy on your website, and also you can put advertisements on. So let me start building this application from scratch. So for building this application, you will just need your text editor. So I am using in this tutorial Visual Studio Code text editor. So you can use any text editor of your choice. So basically, let me link this inside this so that your comments can appear in the screen. So let me just connect this. So now guys, let me just start building this application. So here you just need a simple HTML file here. You can change the title to remove HTTP and HTTPS www protocol from URL in JavaScript. So basically this will be the tool here that we will be building, and right here we will make use of some bootstrap also. So you know that bootstrap is a front-end framework, so we can simply say bootstrap CDN. So we can try to include the CDN of bootstrap. So we can go to w3schools.com and we can try to only copy paste the CSS version of it, and after the title we can paste it. So what we want to do is that we want to now use the container class of bootstrap, and inside this we will have a text center class, and here we can simply give the title remove https www protocol from URL. So all capital letters. So basically this will be the tool here. So now after that guys, we can allow the user to have a form here. Basically we can give it a ID to it, to the form, so that we can target in JavaScript. And inside this we will have a simple text area. So we can give the text area some ID. So we can give URLs, so where multiple URLs can be passed. So we can simply put a label here. So we can say enter URLs. So after that guys, we can have a simple button which will simply say that BTN danger, BTN block. So we will say that remove HTTP, or we can say simply say that get result. So now if you launch this application inside the browser guys, you will see that This is your text area, this is your button, and the text area we need to give it a class of form control. This is a bootstrap class. So now if you give this, you will see this. So now we also need a output text area. So simply we will have this text area inside another form group. So here this text area will be a ID given to it of result. So here the result will be shown to the user. So we can simply give it a label of result. So if you refresh it, now we have the result here. So we can give it a class of form control. So now you can see that, guys, we have the result also. So if you submit the URLs, if you click on get results, you will have the URLs. So now let me write the JavaScript part here. So we will want to include the jQuery for this, guys. So simply I will go to my jQuery, and I will include this jQuery here. So with the same website, which is w3schools.com. So you will find this, go to get started, and you will find this script tag, which is this one. So paste this script tag right here, and after that we can write our JavaScript. So right here inside this JavaScript, guys, we will write the JavaScript code. So we have given this ID to the form, so we can target it by the ID. So simply we can say form, and when the form submits, this E parameter will be automatically passed. We will prevent the auto submission of the form, and then basically we will get all the URLs which is entered by the user inside the text area. You will see that this is a text area. We have given the ID to it of URLs. So basically what we can do is that in order to get the text area value, so we need to convert this into a text area, text into array. So just write this, the very first result which comes in, this is the exactly what we want. So basically it will split the value inside a array like structure. So you need to provide the ID. So in my case, the ID is simply URLs. So it will get the value by the val method of jQuery, and then it will use the split method of JavaScript to convert this into a single line. So basically whatever URLs that you pass, it will be converted to a array, and then it will be stored inside. I name this as URL. So basically it will be an array. Let me show you here console log URLs. So basically now if I open this browser, so basically if I type here any sort of URL here, HTTPS google.com. So basically if I paste it for like this, so you can paste it as many number of times, and now basically if I click the button, so you will see that it will convert this to a array like structure. So for every line there is an input out there. So at the 0th index we have this google.com, then there is a single line which is, so it has converted this to a appropriate array. Now we can process it, and now we can remove this http for each URL, and then display it right here at the next text area. So for this we can use a for each loop, guys. So we can pass this array which is URLs. For each URL we will say we need to remove the, so now we can simply say that in order to remove this, it is very simple, guys. We have a simple function that we need to create it, which will check for every scenario. So that function will be very much similar. So I can call this function anything. Let's suppose I call that function as remove http, or we can simply say that remove protocol, and we can pass the URL. So now we need to make this function right here, remove protocol. So two people are watching the stream, guys. So basically in this tutorial we are building a very simple JavaScript project in which we will be removing the HTTP protocol from the URL. Basically if you write a URL, let's suppose http google.com, you see this HTTP protocol appearing here. We need to remove this. We need to remove this HTTP protocol. This can be HTTPS also, HTTPS colon google.com. This can be also www google.com. So basically we will remove all these protocols that you see inside this, and we will be removing this. So this is the actual project that we will be building in this tutorial. So we are using some bootstrap, you will see that. So this is the code that we have written. So please hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button. So right here inside this logic, guys, in this function we will make use of the method called as starts with. Starts with is a built-in method in JavaScript. Basically it checks whether the string starts with a particular string or particular pattern or not. So basically we will say if condition we will have. So basically we will check the URL. Basically if the URL starts with, this is a function that I'm talking about, guys. This is a built-in function inside JavaScript which checks for whether it starts with a particular pattern or not. So basically we will pass the pattern. So here this pattern will be HTTPS colon colon, and this can be www dot. So basically if the string starts with this, we need to remove this part. You will see HTTPS Google www dot. We need to remove this. So how we remove this? We will create a next variable which will be HTTPS, and here we will store the value. So basically we will say what we want to remove. We need to remove this https www dot. So now to remove this we will use the split method, which actually removes it from the array. So basically we will say return url dot splice. Sorry, we will use the splice method, not the split method. Splice method, which will actually return the array without this pattern. So we will simply say http dot length. That's it. So now we need to write another condition for this. This condition will be similar. URL dot starts with, and this time this will be either HTTP. We need to check for every scenario. So you can see www dot. So then we will simply say, again we will create a next variable HTTP this time, and this will be HTTP. So what portion we need to remove? We need to remove this portion which is HTTP www dot. So we will remove this. So colon www dot. After this we can simply apply the splice method and then return the length http dot length. That's it. So this starts with method, guys. It makes the job a way lot easier. You don't need to have any sort of regular expression. This is a very handy method which is there inside JavaScript, which lets you do this process in a very easy manner. And we will have the third condition here, which is once again use this method, and this time this will be simply https for this, like this. And in this also we need to remove the path https, and we need to remove this part https. That's it. Again we will have the URL splice https dot length. And last but not least, we need to check for the condition where the URL starts with http colon colon. So here also we need to remove this. So we will simply say http colon colon, and here we can simply return the URL supplies http dot length. That's it. So this is our logic, guys. We have made this function from scratch. We are using the starts with method. Basically it compares the string, whether the string contains this pattern. Whether if it contains this pattern, we need to remove this. So we are removing the pattern using the splice method inside JavaScript, which is a array method which actually removes the characters which are passed to it. So it is just removing it and returning to the function which is calling it. So now basically we can uh, have a variable which can be simply So here what we can do is that, guys, so we can store this inside correct URLs. Basically, this will be an empty array, and right here what we can do is that we can push this inside correct URLs. Correct URLs dot push, and we will push it each entry inside this correct URLs array. So now basically, if you console log correct URLs array, so now you will find, if I now write a bunch of this URLs, if I now write facebook.com, this will not be changed because it is there inside the correct pattern. Let me write http zapac.com https www.google.com http linkedin.com. So we have tackled all the scenarios. Let me see if it is handling it or not. Let me go to inspect element. So basically, if you click the get result button, so it is saying url.splice is not a function. So let me see, guys, what is the problem here. url.splice. Oh, sorry, this needs to be slice. Sorry, guys, we have made a mistake here. This needs to be slice instead of splice. So there is again a very handy method inside JavaScript which does this job. So this needs to be slice, not splice. So this is my mistake. So change this slice. So now if you again refresh it, guys, you will see that if I write a bunch of URLs, so the third URL will not be changed. It is there inside the correct fashion. Then we have the condition where www is also present, and HTTPS www facebook.com. So now basically if I inspect element and if I see here in the console, click get results, now basically it has converted all these URLs back to their original URLs. You will see that it is saying undefined. So because if the URL is correct, we need to simply say that return URL. So if all these checks are invalid, then we safely say that the URL is correct. So in that case, we can simply return the URL back after performing all these checks. If the it is failing, so we successfully know that it is a URL is correct, so we can simply return it. So now you will not see undefined here. So basically, once again, we can run this http google.com http facebook.com zapac.com. This is correct URL in a pattern that we wanted, and then we will have https zapac.com http google.com. So basically now if I click get result, now guys it is successfully, it is removing the protocol version which is appearing before the URL, which is http, either https http or www. You will see that. So one scenario we are missing, guys. So in this scenario, let's suppose we have www zapac.com. So this will fail. I think this will fail here. So now you can see for this scenario, we need to tackle the situation. You will see www.zapac.com. So this www we also need to remove. So we can add a one more if statement here at the top. So if URL starts with www, so then we can simply have www. So we need to remove this www, and then we can simply return url dot splice sorry slice as www dot length. That's it. So now we are tackling this situation also if the URL starts with www dot. So we are tackled all the situations. Let me see if it is working. www.google.com https google.com http google.com. This is correct, so it will not be affected. Then we have https www google.com http google.com. So we have all the situations, guys. You will see all the 5 situations. If I click get, now you will see all the URLs, all the protocols are removed from the URL. This is exactly the result that we want. Now we can simply print out this array inside this text area. So the user can copy the result inside the text area. It is very simple. We have the ID attached to it. You will see we have given this ID to the text area, which is result. So here we can simply say after we can use another for each loop. So this time the correct URLs will be there, correct URLs. So for each URL we will push this entry. So we will say result, and then we will say append. We will use the append method, and then we will say correct URLs, uh, URL. We will pass this URL, that's it. So now let me see if it is working, guys. So http google.com. Let me check for 2 URLs if it is working. So now you can see that, guys, it is appearing on the same line. So this behavior we don't want. So we can simply put a new line character also here. So on the second line we can simply say that append. For the new line we have this character which is there /n. So just write this. So now you will see it appearing on the next line. So http google.com, http google.com, www dot is kuchbhi.com, and facebook.com. This is correct. And https www http www. So if I click get result, you will see all these protocols are removed from the URL and we get the result that we want. So that's exactly what we wanted, guys. So you can deploy this service on your own website and place advertisements. Various kinds of similar services are available which actually would remove the protocol from the URL. And this is a very handy application that we have developed here. So all the source code regarding this application, guys, will be there inside video description. You can simply copy paste the source code. Let me write the source code here on my blog post where I will give this source code. So simply I will edit this. So if you are watching it for the very first time, then please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. Let me just copy this. So I will let me give the source code, which is only a single file, index.html file. So this is the URL. Let me copy paste. So this is a very handy service, guys, because many a times you need to remove these HTTP URLs, HTTP protocols from your URL. So from this you can use this code which is there. So it is complete pure JavaScript. No external library is used. Just the jQuery and Bootstrap is used. So it removes all these protocols which are there before the URL. So it's an online tool in browser. So please hit the like button, guys. Please subscribe the channel as well. And I will be seeing you in the next video. Before that, let me just give it the URL in the video description so that you can download this. This is copy link address, and let me just write here at the bottom, give the download, the full source code of application here. So this is your full source code in the video description of this live stream, and I will be seeing you in the next video.